Hey, what's up? In this video, we're going to be talking about how to grow a church biblically, and I'm going to share with you a couple of examples from both scripture and from the church world on how you can grow your church. Coming up. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back. My name is Chris Abbott, but all my friends just call me Abbo. And in this video, we're going to be diving into the difference between temporary tactics and timeless principles of the Word. And so we're going to be talking about how to grow your church biblically and what does the Bible say about church growth. So make sure you stick around all the way to the end because I've actually got a free gift for you. So Philippians 4:6 says, "Don't be pulled in different directions or worried about a thing. Be saturated in prayer throughout each day, offering your faith-filled requests to God with overflowing gratitude. Tell him every detail of your life." Now, I love the scripture because I love the idea of being saturated with prayer, right? And so anytime that we're talking about any type of biblical church growth, right? Any type of healthy, sustainable church growth, it has to start with a foundation of prayer. And the reason I really like this translation is because that idea of being saturated with prayer, I think needs to go before any great endeavor. And so anytime that we are trying to grow our church, anytime that we are trying to reach more people for Jesus, we have to first be completely saturated in prayer. Okay, so I personally believe that if you're not currently involved in the hardest thing you've ever done, then you're probably not growing. We have to constantly put ourselves in uncomfortable situations in order to level up our leadership, increase our influence, and be able to reach more people for God. So if you've been praying and spending time in the Word and trying everything that you know to do in order to grow your church and it hasn't worked yet, I want you to be encouraged, right? If you're not currently involved in the hardest thing you've ever done, you're probably not growing. So if you're frustrated right now and you've been trying to grow your church, I'm telling you, you're in a really good spot. All right, number one, mushroom mentality versus oak tree strategy. So a couple of years ago, I was at a huge conference and there were a bunch of incredible speakers, names that you would probably all know. And it was one of those really incredible conferences where there was lights and smoke and loud music, and there was like an electricity in the air. Every single speaker came out and crushed it. I was taking pages and pages of notes in my iPhone. And then finally, Rick Warren stepped on stage. And everything just felt different. Everything seemed to kind of slow down a little bit. And he walked on stage wearing a black t-shirt, a pair of blue jeans, and he was barefoot. And instead of having this loud intro music and getting the crowd all hype, he walked out and he sat on an old wooden stool and he began to tell a story. And he said, it takes God 6 hours to grow a mushroom, but it takes him 60 years to grow an oak tree. Now, a mushroom is here today and gone tomorrow, but an oak tree lasts for lifetimes. Kids climb up in them, people get married under them, and families build their lives around them. So, do you want your church to be a mushroom or an oak tree? And I'm telling you, I sat there in stunned silence. I couldn't believe the wisdom of this kind of simple story. And so I started to think about some of the things that I'd been doing to try to grow my church, right? And I realized a lot of them were kind of these mushroom tactics, right? Like we were trying direct mail, we were trying social media, we were trying all these different things. But if I wanted my church to be an oak tree, not a mushroom, I had to go all in on these timeless principles. And so it was then that I started to switch my mindset and focus on oak tree strategy instead of mushroom tactics. Now, direct mail is a temporary tactic. Facebook ads, door knocking, social media, these are all tactics. And they're what's working now. So I personally believe that the gospel never changes, but our ways of reaching people with the gospel have to constantly change. They have to constantly evolve, right? But understanding the difference, right? So understanding that these tactics are just that. They're just tactics. They're just different ways that we can use the tools that we have at our disposal in order to reach people with the timeless principles. And those timeless principles are things like ministry, missions, discipleship. These are things that never get outdated and they never go away. So it's important to understand and to switch our mindset. Yes, we're going to use some of these tactics, but we can't have a mushroom mentality. Instead, we have to go all in on oak tree strategy. Okay, so Tom Rainer says that not learning how to use social media effectively is the equivalent of a missionary moving to a new country and refusing to learn the language. And here's the deal. There's 2.7 billion people on Facebook. And that makes Facebook the single largest missions field the church has ever seen. I think too often we look at this as a social platform or a way to get the word out about our new sermon series or our baptism service or our baby dedications. But instead, we need to stop looking at it as an announcement platform, stop looking at it as a social platform, and start looking at it as a missions field. we need to understand that Facebook is a missions field, and that'll change the way that we show up on Facebook. All right, so before I get to my last couple of points, man, would you send this video to someone that needs to hear it? I know there's a lot of pastors and church leaders out there who are tirelessly working away 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and they've been praying and believing God for church growth, and it just hasn't been happening, especially with everything that's been going on lately. Man, would you send them this video? I want to be able to encourage them, and hopefully this video kind of help them take the next step in growing their church. All right, and finally, comfort is the currency you pay in exchange for growth. So if you want to grow your church, you have to first grow yourself as a leader. You have to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, and you have to constantly increase your capacity, because it's only at the edge of your ability that you begin to expand your capacity. So if you're really honest with yourself and you would say that on a scale from 1 to 10, your leadership right now is a 6, then you'll only be able to lead 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, and 5s. And that's important to understand and be completely honest about. So in order for you to reach more people, you're gonna have to level up your leadership. So if you level up your leadership from a 6 to an 8, now you can lead everyone that's a 7 and below, and so on. All right, Matthew 7, 7 and 8 says, ask and you'll receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives, everyone who seeks finds, and to everyone who knocks, the door will be opened. So I want to encourage you, keep going, keep leveling up your leadership, keep going deeper into the word, keep being saturated in prayer, and understand that you're going to have to be uncomfortable if you want to level up your leadership. Our brains are hardwired to reject change and to flee back into safety, but don't let yourself do that. Constantly do hard things and put yourself in uncomfortable situations, because comfort is the currency you pay in exchange for growth. All right, so if you like this video and you want to learn more about how to grow your church, and you specifically want to dive into some of the principles of social media and technology and how to increase your influence and reach more people, then head on over to churchgrowthagency.com. We've got a free video for you. We'll see you soon.